Survive and advance. That's all it is. Welcome into the final Game Day Nation of the season. I'm Yaw Bonsu alongside my tag team partners, Rhett Boyd and Deon Thompson. It's postseason time. Things are looking amazing. And our game of the week, Southview and Defiance. We'll get to that in a moment, but you guys know what it's like to be in the bright lights of the postseason, whether that's as a coach or as a player. Coach Boyd, what is the makeup of a team that makes a deep run in this tournament?
One, it's shot making. You got to make shots. That's what the scoreboard dictates. But two, I think defensively, you have to have great attention to detail in terms of individual tendencies that you're guarding against, the sets you're guarding against, and how you're going to defend them.
Let's take a look at the lineup tonight on GDN. We have 5 boys basketball sectional finals on our air tonight. We also have some hockey, Clay versus Bowling Green. But you take a look at this lineup. Some games have already got underway. You have Sandusky at Clay. That game tipped off at 6. And that's going to be very important, Coach Boyd, because I remember you telling me before the show that Defiance is a type of team that is not going to beat itself. Deon, you know what it's like to be the guy on a team. We don't have to rehash the damage he did at DeVilbiss, but being the guy on a team going into the postseason, how much pressure do you feel to be in the type of position that a guy like Jaron Witcher's in tonight?
Well, if you're that guy, you got to show you're that guy. And that's why I said it's very important for him to get started early. He has to get going early, which he seems to do. And if you look at the keys also, they have to limit Defiance to one shot now. And I tell you why. Defiance runs a lot of great action. If you watch, they'll hit you with back doors. They run, 4 high. They got a ton of actions. And if you're not communicating on defense, it's going to be tough.
Looking at Defiance, this is a team that when the brackets came out, you can argue, Coach Boyd, that the team was a little underseeded. Similar record to Southview, sure, but it's a very tough schedule that Defiance has played.
Extremely tough. You play the WBL, the Western Buckeye League. You're tested each and every night. This is a really good, sound, fundamentally sound, technically sound basketball team. They do not beat themselves.
Defiance and Southview, that's our game of the week. We'll have that in a moment, but we also had some action tipping off before we got on the air today. That's Clay and Sandusky. We introduced you to the first 3 box of the night. In the bottom left of your screen, you have Sandusky and Clay, the Eagles up 2 with under 2 minutes to go over the Blue Streaks. Meanwhile, in the bottom right of your screen, you have Bowling Green and Springfield. That's gonna be a whole lot of fun. We have action all night long tonight on Game Day Nation. Of course, at the top of your screen, you have Ottawa Hills and Bluffton. Welcome back. It is halftime of our game of the week. Southview leading Defiance 23-18. We talked about the keys to the game. Jaron Witcher was a huge part of that, getting him involved early in the paint. Meanwhile, if you're Defiance, you want to get him into foul trouble, but so far, point Cougars. Coach Boyd, when you look at the way Southview's playing, everything you said pretty much Notre Dame and your keys to the game has been coming true when it comes to the Cougars.
Well, and Dean said it too, the number one goal, you got to get Witcher going early, an inside-outside attack, and they did just that. And then that freed up Damian Clay, knocked down a couple threes. Damian Clay got down the lane of penetration because your driving lanes are bigger.
By the way, that's you in my credit, right? Y'all didn't want to give it up. I told you to give it up. Y'all be hating, man. I know I made that comment in the fall, man. Come on.
Oh, my
You're my guy. You're my guy, Deon. I got it.
Southview up 23-18 in our game of the week. It is the sectional finals, and we'll have much more on the other side of the break. You're watching Game Day Nation presented by Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window. We have more smart comments from Deon after the break. Iceman, baby. Jaron Witcher icing the game at the free throw line. And Coach Boyd, this is exactly what you wanted to see. You talked about what is the anatomy of a team that makes a deep postseason run. You saw it there with making free throws.
Yeah, that was Deon's take. And for me, it's defense, right? In playoff basketball, especially as you advance, the teams are better. And it's because they're better defensively.
Yep, the 3 is off. Still get the rebound, and that's a GG. Southview taking down. Did Jaron Witcher tip that into his own basket?
Yeah, he did.
Did it count? I guess not. Okay. Southview taking down Defiance 46-41 in a sectional final. Big time night for the Cougars. That was our game of the week. The Cougars are moving on in the postseason. You're watching Game Day Nation presented by Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window. We'll be right back. Thank you, Mark. Julian Washington and Margaretta taking care of business in its postseason opener, an 86-42 win over Edison. Deon, when you talk about Julian Washington, we saw some of the highlights in that package. He's a tough shot maker.
Yeah, he is, and he has what we call a college bag already. If you watch, does a lot of stuff, gets to the mid-range, can shoot over guys. We've seen him knock down the 3. Then the deciding factor has to be would they start on this particular
team? That could be
team?
one of, but that can't be the, because if I'm a 21-10 guy on a team with a weak strength of schedule, and then you have a guy averaging maybe 14-6 on playing one of the best schedules in Ohio, you can't say, well, if I was in this conference or that conference, I wouldn't be putting up the numbers I'd be putting. I can't control that. You can only go off the body of work that I've put on, no matter who I'm doing it against.
And you know what I could say? If I'm that guy averaging 14-6 and I drop down to this small team, I'm probably averaging 28-10. So we could do it reverse too.
You can.
I mean, so you got to look at who is the better guy. We just have to be honest here.
And you can test a variety of factors. At the end of the day, who are the best 5 guys? If you are picking 5 guys to go play, who are the best 5 guys? And you can evaluate that amongst a bunch of different categories.
And I fully understand that, but if one of the guys you have in mind put up a stinker in the postseason, regional tournament when they begin,
who cares?
It's the body of work.
It's the body of work.
That's part of the body of work.
It's one game out of 27, 28.
This is why we get the extra time to evaluate these players.
That's not why we have the extra
time.
Right?
Yes, it is. That is why we have the extra time. These players have an opportunity here to set themselves apart even more so than they already have. If player A is a star, we think he's a lock for top 5, but all of a sudden in the postseason, instead of putting up 21, he's putting up 9 points a game, team bows out early, maybe is upset in the regional semifinals, then how can we sit here and say that, no, they're still a top 5 when another player may emerge?
You're saying that they're equal, and then one team might continue to play better. They're not, but what doesn't mean they're not equal.
When we began the season, I'm saying everybody's on an equal playing field.
And guys ascend ahead of guys throughout the year.
Exactly, and guys can also descend below guys throughout the year, and that includes in postseason time.
Okay, you're saying one game, like they can ascend, and then they have a stinker, a bad night. That's not dropping you to here.
It's not a stinker in the middle of January.
It's one game.
It could be the biggest game of the season, is what I'm saying.
Rhett, so what you're saying, you're not going to put Alan Horton in your top 5?
Well, Alan Horton had 26 against Central Catholic.
Wait, they lost. They keep losing.
They did lose.
And they aren't playing well right now.
But he got his.
So now it's not a team game anymore?
All right, so to that point,
you have to make your team
Walter
better.
Plants is averaging 21-10 on an undefeated Genoa team. So to that logic, he should be in your top 5?
No, why?
No, why?
That's the logic you just shared.
No.
You just said Alan Horton. You trying to come at me saying
you said if a team is falling down, he's a good player.
He's a good player, right? But you said because they haven't been winning, that's an argument against him in this case.
That's your argument. I'm not saying that.
All Genoa is doing is winning. How can we not sit here and say, man, Walter Plants, 21 points, 10 rebounds, man, 4.
Well, first of all, we're not going to give it away. We don't know where he's going to be. But I will say this. But I'm going to say this.
Both of those players are in the top 10.
I got to look at who's the best 5.
Okay. So
who's the top 5? That's the question.
But you saying that now, you're saying nothing within the next 2 weeks could change your mind.
No, probably not.
Because the body of work, it's the body of work over the entire season. Look, but again, you're saying that these guys are I'm not saying him per se, but I'm saying you take 2 guys that are even. Then you got to have some kind of separate. But they're not. Yes. But there's guys that aren't even.
But it's close. We're about to see some of these matchups.
Saying it's close.
There's a chance that within the next 2 weeks we get out of the top 10 players that we get St. Francis versus St. John's, Rayce Kowalczyk versus Alan Horton, that we get Genoa versus Margaretta, Julian Washington versus Walter Plants. You're telling me this is not an opportunity for guys to stake their claim into the All BCSN top 5? There's an opportunity here.
You're saying they're even. You're saying these guys are even.
They're not even. But these games are an opportunity to put one above the other.
Let me say this. For people watching on TV land.
This is fun.
It's not us.
We're not mad.
There's a lot. There's coaches. There's a lot of people, that's going to factor in this decision. So if the coaches say, these are my best 5 guys, we say these are the best 5 guys, and maybe there's still a guy maybe left outside the top 5 that's still rolling. So you're saying he deserves, you know more than the coaches?
I don't know more than the coaches. That's why we have you here. That's why we have you guys. You guys are the experts. But I'm just saying, you guys are talking as if it's already established. Like, you already know who the top 5 guys are. So in that case,
I have in my mind right now who the top 5 guys are.
Okay, and what I'm saying is things should be able to happen in the next 2 weeks to change your mind.
If I have 2 guys that are equal. Yes.
So,
but if I don't think they're equal, one game isn't going to necessarily decide that.
Let me ask this then. We revealed our top 10 players last week. How many of those players have a realistic shot at this very moment to get in your top 5?
6.
I was going to say 6, yeah.
So you're telling me nothing could happen between now and, let's say, regional finals,
Well, if there's
Final
6,
Four?
obviously, maybe.
Maybe.
If there's
But
5 and 6 are equal,
Yes.
sure. But if 5 and 6 aren't equal, one game ain't going to decide.
So without naming names, let's say you're 5 and 6 off the top of your head. How close are they?
Mine's not that close.
Not that close. Which means there's nothing that can happen between your 5 and 6 in the next 2 weeks to change your mind.
Probably not, unless it's something ridiculous off the charts.
Okay. There you go.
So
It's the body of work and all that.
You
Strike the
don't
schedule
have,
and all that.
So what?
For me.
So are your 5 and 6? Or you have what? 7 guys? I'm assuming.
7 guys, I would say.
7 guys. Okay. Are they close? 5 and 7? 5, 6, and 7.
I would say they're
are they?
close.
All right.
But what's going to be the distinguishing factor? What we see in the postseason. I mean, it has to be. It has to be.
Does quality of competition matter?
I mean, it's the postseason. It's win or go home.
No, but we're asking the
does
question.
the quality of competition
I mean, it
matter?
mattered to get them to the top 30 and then the top 10. But now if we're looking at things to separate them, because otherwise, we already know who the top 5 are. But if you're saying there are 6, 7 guys that are in contention for the top 5, then what's the evidence
I
going to
already
be?
told you my criteria is. When I look at the top 5, I'm looking at 5 guys who can start anywhere and still have the same production. That's what I'm looking at. Camera number 1. That's what I'm looking at.
I agree with Deanna, and I'm throwing in straight the schedule. Again, if I feel that 2 guys are even, I am looking at, okay, what's 21 against this schedule? What's 21 points against this schedule? And I'm going to see, and I'm going to weigh that. That matters. Right. And now, again, if I think 5 and 6 are this, one game isn't going to decipher that. If I think 5 and 5 or 5 and 6 are this, then one game might separate that. We have to wait and see how it all plays out.
Yes, we do. But yeah, yes, we do. Well,
that's the beauty of it. But here's the thing. To be honest, like that's the beauty of all of this. Is that where am I looking at? That one? Okay. Yeah, the beauty of all of that is this. It's one guy's opinion. It's one guy's opinion. It's one guy's opinion.
And all the great basketball minds in the area as well.
But we have the play-by-play guys, the color analysts, coaches in the area. They all have their opinion.
Well, it's probably 25, 30 guys.
Yeah, it's 20. Yeah, it's probably 20 guys. That they have
we're
a say
just
in
the face
this,
of it.
And then the boss is above a lot more higher pay grade than us. They're going to make the decision.
They're going to make the decision.
So, we get to talk about it. That's fun. But what we just did. That's what you do. That's what you do at the house.
Yeah, flashback to high school when I was at the lunch table debating who the best players are. But don't worry, we'll have the top 5 in 2 weeks. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Of course, a lot of debate. But trust me, postseason time, a lot can change. A lot can change. You're watching Gameday Nation.
If you want to make it in Yaw's top 5, just keep winning. Just keep balling out.
Have an impact on winning.
Just keep winning.
Have an impact on winning. That's the criteria. Welcome back to Gameday Nation. Yaw Bonsu, Rhett Boyd, Dion Thompson. We spoke about some of the criteria surrounding the top players in the area ahead of the all BCSN top 5 being revealed in 2 weeks. But the players don't get here without great coaches. We've spoken about some of the top coaches in the area, the Mike Shones of the world, the Mike Floyds of the world, and they are amazing indeed. But Dion, when you talk about some other great coaches, there are a lot of them that have gone under the radar this season.
I'm going to start with Luke Hickey. Out there at Lake. Yep. Hey, listen, District Coach of the Year. He flies under the radar because he's out by Owens Tech somewhere. but no, honestly, I think they were like 17-4, 18-4. Did an outstanding job, and he deserves it. Let's put Yaw on the spot for once.
Oh my God.
Let's go.
Yaw.
Not my job.
What was the better play?
The better play? Oh, Manny Johnson.
What's the top play?
Manny Johnson, hands down. You got situation. To hit a clutch shot like that on the road, you got rage baited pretty much by the away crowd. To hit a shot like that, and then to come back and block the best player on the other team, situation matters.
Let me rephrase that. I said better play. What is the more exciting play,
Okay.
I forgot.
Hold on.
It's semantics with Yaw.
I misunderstood you.
No, you didn't. It's semantics with you.
If it's more exciting, then in that case, it's Manny Johnson from Central Cal.
Oh!
Because just the way the crowd. Remember what we were doing in here at studio? We were screaming. We were like, "Oh my goodness!"
Okay, Yaw. Let me ask you: have you ever seen a dunk like that, even in New York?
No. No, never. Never.
But
we haven't seen many game winners turn into game-winning blocks like that either.
Great play.
The situation, and you know what the cherry on top is? We were all freaking out here in studio. Every time a big play happens here, I look through the window pane and I look at our crew in the newsroom. They're just as shocked as we are. I mean, look at this.
Yeah, y'all don't know.
This is absolutely ridiculous. When you talk about alphas, Manny Johnson, D1 recruit, going to Eastern Michigan, the man for the Fighting Irish, leading Central Catholic to potentially its best season under head coach Mike Floyd, and to do that against one of the best teams in the area? Come on, man.
And guess what?
Come on, man.
He was out of position. He even admitted.
I'm saying.
But okay, now can we play Willie Foster again? I love the play. Manny, shouts out to you. Irish Nation, you guys know how I feel about them. But when you look at that dunk, I mean, we talked about this in the studio. This man could have probably won a dunk contest in the NBA this year. Can we play the dunk, guys? Please, and slow-mo it if you can. Ooh, wow.
What'd you say when we did the big play breakdown? The cock back?
He hit his left. Hey, listen, slow it down. He hit his left heel. Look how low. This man is 6'1". I know they list him as 6'2". He's 6'1". Look at the left. Come on.
I mean, that's crazy.
Man.
That's actually insane.
It's ridiculous. That's not even.
You can't go wrong either play, but
that is crazy.
How many times have we watched this in here?
That's filthy. It is. You know, the Manny Johnson two plays.
Look at that! I'm sorry, Coach. I'm sorry.
Dude,
don't be.
I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Oh, man, that's crazy.
The only thing that was sorry is that rim got rocked.
Man.
But with Manny Johnson, I think when this is a sequence, the quick turnaround from the three to the block, in that rivalry game, on the road, in that environment, with this game on the line, literally at both ends of the floor, and you came up that clutch. That's situational basketball at its finest.
But you know what's so crazy?
Here's the deal: you can't teach any of that in practice.
But this is what's so crazy about this. This, to me, watching this dunk, and we've been seeing a lot of dunks, they just look regular now. That's how ridiculous this dunk was.
They're all going to be compared to him.
Man, this is just...
And that's the unfortunate
and he got
part.
more, too, now.
We know how deep his bag goes. You send me the TikToks on our off days. You send me the TikToks all the time. His bag is deep, and that's unfortunate that the other players in this area, when they have a great dunk, it's just going to be like, it's all right. You weren't Willie Foster, though.
I'm telling you guys, I've been watching basketball a very long time. And I think the question was that the greatest dunk I've ever seen? Yes. I go back to the.
Come on, man.
No, I'm dead serious. I've never seen any dunk like that out of high school in a game.
I'm thinking
that's crazy. I'm
thinking NBA guys, you know, and I mean that's like a dunk contest worthy type of dunk, right?
The NBA guys have they're longer, they're taller, so they have naturally better hops.
The only guy that. Because with that dunk, you have the extension and all of that, but the power behind it.
Yeah.
It reminds the only guy in the NBA. If I go back when you look at the length, the cock back and all that, the only thing it's Dominique Wilkins in terms of the extension, the power involved in it.
No, right? Neek's 6'7".
Yeah.
That's why I'm even talking Ja Morant, who's 6'3". We got a guy 6'1", 6'2" out of Northwest Ohio.
Jumping like all of them.
Going crazy right now.
That's wild. Man, what a season of great plays. Big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games. We have our 2 box. I mean, listen, you really can't go wrong. You really can't.
So when the awards come out, this is going to be a very hard pick.
And BCSN play-by-players, analysts, the anchors, reporters, the staff vote on BCSN honors.
I don't know.
And let me just say, the fall season had some great plays too. Tori Trzynski, Perrysburg girls soccer, she had a ridiculous double save. I could go through it all day, but nonetheless, and don't forget about Mason's call. Mortis! The guys in the back know what I'm talking about. Anyway, you're watching Game Day Nation, presented by Renewal by Anderson, a better way to a better window. We'll be right back. Let's take a look at some of the scores on GDN and beyond. Southview taking care of Defiance 46-41. That was our game of the week. Meanwhile, Bowling Green just edging Springfield 57-56. Maumee Valley flying high over Woodmore by 30. You have Clay sneaking past Sandusky. The Eagles continuing an impressive season, especially without their top two players, beating Sandusky by 4. Alrighty, Bluffton blowing out Ottawa Hills. 64-37. And I thought that was a football score, but turns out it is indeed hockey. St. Francis taking care of Elyria Catholic 10-0. Oh my Lord. Alrighty, let's take a look at some more scores that weren't on GDN. You have Rogers falling to Lima Shawnee. Wow, 64-46. The season ends for the Rams. Remember, the Rams had some players that were out due to suspensions, but catching up to them there. Shawnee moving on in that district. Central Catholic kicking off the postseason in style. A 72-49 win over Fremont Ross. You have Toledo Christian downing Lakota by 1. Wow. You have Margaretta and Julian Washington an 86-42 win over Edison. But don't ask them. This won't change anything as far as the top 5 is concerned. Alrighty, Liberty Center beating Northwood 80-26. And then you have Whiteford taking care of Gabriel Richard, 55-39. When you take a look at some of the scores that we just mentioned, what stands out, Coach Boyd?
Toledo Christian.
And he's a great playmaker, too. He's a taller guard. I don't think people talk about his passing ability enough, his vision. He's elite for that Central Catholic team as far as generating offense.
Yeah.
But if you're going to have an argument over a Manny Johnson, over a Race Kowalczyk, the margin for error is so thin. And that's why I'm going with Walter Plants from Genoa. The Comets are 23-0. Perfection throughout the entire season. Walter Plants averaging 23 points per game, 10 rebounds, 4 blocks, and that's with him not playing most fourth quarters. When you talk about a guy in Walter Plants, you talk about the engine, not only for a Genoa team, but for an undefeated Genoa team. Knocks against him. He hasn't played the schedule that a St. Francis, that a St. John's, that a Central Catholic has played. That is 100% correct. So what does he do instead? He takes the schedule he has and goes 23-0. Walter Plants is my player of the year.
I give you somebody who just stuffs the stat book in basically every category, and that's Kendall Skyver at Ottawa Hills. Like 27 points. She gets like 9 rebounds,
she leads the
4 steals,
the area by a good 4
3
or 5
blocks.
points.
Like everything that can be done, Kendall Skyver is doing that for Ottawa Hills. And one more, we can't not say Leah Pike, leading the Anthony Wayne girls basketball team.
It's nobody's fault here, but we haven't talked about her enough this season, if not at all. She is an engine for an Anthony Wayne team. And Coach Boyd, we were talking about this before the show. Last year, Leah Pike was the number 3 option for Anthony Wayne, but list me off every single team in the area. She's probably a number 1 on 99%, if not 100% of those teams. So for her to take that step back, come into this year, be the alpha that she already was, by the way, and lead this Anthony Wayne team to potentially another Final Four, it's remarkable.
You're not going to convince me otherwise. I agree with you 100%. Last year, to be totally transparent, when I had to give my Final 5 on the girls' side last year, I had her in my Final 5. Because I don't care if she was a third option or not, she's an alpha. And she saved them in the regional semis last year, you know, with the 20-point performance. Like I said, you're right, yeah. She would have been the number 1 option on 99% of the teams last year. It just was on the team that she was on. There was 2 other Division I players that are playing in the Big East. And so she understood what her role was. She executed magnificently. And then this year, when she became the alpha, all she did was lead. Game in, game out, big games. You know, she was the one that stood the tallest.
What I love about her.
And by the way, it's her second sport.
No, I was about to say,
that's not her primary sport.
She loves basketball. That's what I love. Yeah, she's a volleyball player.
You wouldn't even know that volleyball is her first sport. That's the crazy part. And the one knock against her, she's so selfless. That's the one knock. She's so generous. She wants to give the shine to her other teammates and everything. But Lord knows, and you guys are all witnesses, when she wants to take over a game, she takes over.
She's a dog.
Good luck stopping her.
Yeah, I like her. She's a junkyard dog out there. She's a winner. She wants to
She wins
win.
at every level.
That's what
everything.
I'm saying.
We're talking about player of the week,
Yes.
conference player of the year, all these different type of things.
Yeah.
The conversation starts with Leah Pike. Come on now.
You talking about Kendall Skyver?
Yeah.
I'll see her tomorrow.
There you go.
And they're against New London in the district final at Napoleon. You said all the stuff, all the stats you mentioned. Guys, she's doing it at 51% from the field.
That's crazy.
She had 1,000 points.
That's not crazy. Like, come on.
She's very talented, and she's going to have to play well tomorrow against a very good New London team.
So kind of following those lines, we've talked about your best players. Who's some players in the area that maybe don't get the shine that they deserve. I'm going to start with one. We know what Kieran Stokes does at Maumee Valley. He does a little bit of everything. But another guy that helps run that engine is Jabron Price. And a guy that I don't think we talk about him. He made our top 30 list for good reason, but he is a playmaker. He is a great athlete and an asset for Kieran Stokes and Coach Fleming's over at Maumee Valley. There's my one pick for an underrated guy.
I'm going to go Delvon Stone. Stone from Rogers.
The way he has grown this season.
Coming into the year,
yeah.
I didn't know much about him. I knew Rogers had two good guys, but the way he played, he's one of my guys. And another guy I want to talk about is Caden Crothers.
Yeah.
Listen, and we talked about this at the pod. To me, a guy that has improved from the beginning of the year to not just throughout his career, and I really believe his best basketball is ahead of him.
Yeah.
He's allowed that team to play 4 guards.
Yes.
He's allowed them to play 4 guards, which increases their perimeter pressure, which has made them dynamic defensively. And then when teams do, break the front line, he's there as a rim protector on the back end and rebounding at such a high clip that Coach.
Give me Coy Hammock from St. John's.
Was just spiraling that name in my head. That's crazy.
We talk about Ethan James, we talk about Race Kowalczyk, but the ability for that team to shoot as well as it does comes from the fact that its center, Coy Hammock, can also let it rip from behind the arc. He's physical in the paint when he has to be. He will dunk on you any day of the week. But the fact that he's such a elusive shooter, we don't see that from a lot of big men in this area. The ability to shoot the ball consistently, St. John's has that in Coy Hammock. If the Titans are gonna make a run to a state championship, Coy Hammock is gonna be a big reason why. And there are a lot of big games where he has come through with 20+ points. You wanna talk about the game against Central Catholic, Coy Hammock, clutch down the stretch, both offensively and defensively. He's an under-the-radar player who's gonna play a big role in the regional tournament should the Titans get there.
Hey,
that's a bad draw for Genoa, though, because remember, we spoke all season about being battle-tested. How many times did you guys mention playing a tough schedule? If you know your conference is weak, schedule tough in the non-league, the non-conference. Genoa hasn't necessarily done that. So all of a sudden, you're gonna go up against one of the best players in Ohio and Margaretta and expect to win. That's gonna be a struggle because you haven't seen that level of competition. So if that goes down in a regional semi, that's going to be scary for the comments.
Hold on. Hey, you guys cut it off now. Yaw and I actually agreed on something. I cannot believe.
It only took until last week.
No, I was about to say that.
Can you believe that?
The waning minutes of this whole show.
No, my whole thing with the schedules were just, you can't control who you play. But if we're talking about what it means for the postseason, I mean, you guys know it best. You guys tell me all the time. It's important to play a tough schedule, not only for the draw in your seeding, because it prepares you for the tournament. And can we say Genoa is 100% prepared for tournament time the way some other teams in our area are? I don't know, and I guess we'll find out if Margaretta and Genoa make it to the regional semis. Welcome back to the final Game Day Nation of the season. Yaw Bonsu, Rhett Boyd, Dion Thompson. We're gonna do some rapid fire here. Let's start with your best guard tandem in the area, Coach Boyd.
I want to go Central Catholic, Caden Kennard and Manny
Doesn't get better, I don't think.
I mean, those two guys, they're combining for 29, 30 points a night. And they've done it all year long in the best league.
Dion, who's the backcourt?
So if we're going 2-on-2, how about Sean and Willie Foster in linebacker? I mean, come on,
you're trying to dunk all day, your way to 21 points.
I'm just saying, like, that would be a great game. Who you got, Yaw?
Who do I got? Parker Theobald and Ethan James. I know Ethan James will lock some people up. I need some great defenders, and if I need shooting, Ethan James, more so an inside shooter, but Parker Theobald can pull from anywhere, so that's fantastic. Speaking of shooting, who's your best three-point shooter in the area? Coach Boyd?
I'm going Grace Crawl. I mean, Grace Crawl at Northview, she's legit. She's got extended range, and she does it every single night.
Dion, I'm not sure you can give a better answer, but I want to hear what you have to say anyway.
Man, that's a good one. Best three-point. I might have to steal your Parker Theobalds, man. Parker got a strap. I've been watching him, man. That man is strapped.
Ben Paymer, though?
That's a good one.
That's not a bad one. I'll take it.
It's not only the fact that he's great from behind the arc, his release is so quick. Like, you give him just a split second, he's going to be able to get that done. All righty, we saw a lot of superstars emerge this season, but who was your favorite newcomer in 2025-26, Coach Wood?
I thought David Rowland of Northview.
Yeah.
It was his brother last year, Jacob, who really had a step forward as a sophomore this year. But David Rowland really came in and gave him some muscle on the inside, rebounded at a higher level than I think maybe expected, and he also contributed 6-7 points a ball game. One of the many reasons why Jeremy McDonald and that young Northview team turned a lot of heads this year.
Dion?
Newcomer, I'm going to go with Langford. out of Central Catholic. You guys slept on Langford. He had a lot of big shots, and they said he was on JV last year, so I'm just going with Langford out of Central Catholic.
I'm going with Ayanna Sawyer, girls basketball, Maumee Valley Country Day, second in the area in scoring. And then finally, you get one team to win it all, to win a state championship in this area. Who is it, Coach Boyd?
Lima Senior. I got Lima Senior. I think until somebody proves otherwise, I think when they're healthy and they had all five on the floor at the same time, they're as tough as anybody.
Dion?
Bellevue girls.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's your lock.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, they got a good chance.
Might be.
Fantastic. I would have to say Central Catholic. There's something brewing. I know the Fighting Irish, traditionally a football school, traditionally a school that hasn't been that great as far as boys basketball relative to this year, but Mike Floyd, Manny Johnson, Kaden Kennard, they're cooking. Appreciate you guys joining us all season. What a blessing it is being next to the best. Game Day Nation Overtime is next with Mark Coons. Have a great night.